I'm Dr. Stephanie McDonough, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I specialize in working with people who have cancer or are in the survivorship period. And today I'll be introducing the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, which is a mindfulness skill, but also can be referred to as a grounding technique. Essentially, it helps us return our attention to the present moment, and we know that it's easy to get caught up in thoughts, feelings, and sensations, often which pull us away from the present moment, sometimes bringing us all the way to the past, really thinking and dwelling on the past, or thinking about the future, the what ifs, maybe worst case scenarios. So this skill helps us really pivot back to the present and uses our senses to help us. So when we say 5-4-3-2-1, we use our sight, our hearing, our ability to touch and feel things, smell things, and taste as we work our way through. So if we take a moment to do that now, what are 5 things that you could see? Not just sort of pointing at something and saying chair or pen or clock, but really looking at those things. What does the light look like on that object? The color, the texture, the patterns, the details. And if you were doing this maybe on a walk, you could really look for leaves. And within those leaves, what do the colors look like? Can you see the veining? What does the texture look like? What about the bark on the tree? What does that look like? What about maybe it's searching for flowers or clouds in the sky? It could be any kind of object. And you can do this, of course, indoors or outdoors. But really taking a moment and noticing 5 things that you could see. And then moving on to the next sense, which would be feeling. So what are some things that you could touch or things that you could feel? And really actually touch them. If it's an object that you can pick up, pick it up. What's its weight like? Again, texture, any kind of information with touch. Is it soft? Is it rough? What are you noticing? And what are those 4 things that you can touch right now and really paying attention to that sensory information? Next, we move to 3 things that you can hear. So again, not just naming 3 things you can hear, but what is the quality like? The volume? What are you picking up on in terms of that detailed information that you can hear? Moving now to 2 things that you can smell. And it's possible that it might be a little bit harder to identify smells depending on where you are. Sometimes you might be able to even smell your own clothing to see if you can detect any detergent or if you're wearing any perfume. But if you're at home or you're in a place where you could do this, you can always create a sensory experience like lighting a candle, or are you cooking and are you able to smell what your meal smells like? Really having full permission to sometimes create some sensory information if needed. But also you could go another direction, which is just noticing maybe that there is no smell right now, and that's okay too. And then lastly, what can you taste? Again, you might be able to taste something already. If you're eating, you can certainly do that. What are the flavors? Can you taste the herbs? Is it savory? Is it sweet? And if you don't have any taste right now, then you can always, again, try to create that sensation by maybe having a small snack or putting in a piece of gum or a small candy. And then when you're doing that, really noticing what does it taste like. And this is a technique that you can practice quickly, or you could take your time. You could do it almost anywhere. But you are really using those sensory cues to anchor you back into the present moment. So if you're ever feeling like you're getting stuck with thoughts and feelings, you're feeling quite overwhelmed, maybe you're thinking a lot about the future or the past, this can be a tool that you can utilize and start to practice right away.